There's
Right.
always builders here, or people testing planes, or people just
Hmm.
standing around talking. Uh,
Yeah, and let me mention Drusilla Sanders in that regard.
hmm
When he moved in here, that certainly was a good anchor for us at that time with all the traffic that helped popularize the airport. And of course, we have the SL Coast Guard. We've provided a facility over there at the southeast corner of the airport that we're always happy to see the different things that they're doing and training and patrols and things.
Yeah, there's always something going on there at those places too. It seems like, and really
Yes,
adds a nice element to the whole thing. What
right.
you've mentioned a few of your staff members here. What about your staff?
There's two reasons that I think Hollywood Airport is so popular. Number one is location. We're really located there at the hub by the Blake Sea, by the 200 sims of the United Sailing Sim, where there's four other airports. So that's good. But I also think we're popular because the staff here at Hollywood Airport has been so professional and so friendly that you can't help, unless you're a griefer or someone doing something really bad, you can't help feel the good feelings that are around here, and they have, there's what they've really made this airport important, because they care and they're here to help, and I'm very pleased with everyone that's worked here over time.
Uh, you've mentioned about the agreement with Linden Labs and the Blake Sea and all. Tell us exactly how does that work?
Well, my main interest in the past, not now, but in the past, was helping develop the sailing community in Second Life. That's why Hollywood had the very first yacht club, Starbridge Yacht Club, and we've been involved. Meaning my business partner Neber Medici and I, have been involved in helping build that community and have been leaders in that community, although not as much right now, but because of that activity going on, we caught the attention of Linden Lab, and Jack Linden approached Neber and I and said that he wanted to work with us because he thought the sailing community was dynamic, and Linden Lab was seeking out dynamic, mature communities to help. And the result of all that was the founding of the Blake Sea, which was part of what Linden Lab brought to the table in that commitment, with the first off 36 sims, and now I think it's over 40 sims, that the United Sailing Sims, the 12 owners that are around it, have wrapped around. Now the SL Sailing is bigger than the United Sailing Sims or the Blake Sea, but certainly we make a major part of that, and have worked with Linden Lab over the last few years to make the Blake Sea a fun and successful place to enjoy sailing.
Yeah, and it sure is, and naturally a good place to fly as well.
Right.
And
What makes good sailing makes for good aviation
yeah,
in Second Life terms.
yes, that's true. So, and we've went through a lot of changes with that, and some hard times, and it seems like server side changes are always taking place. And so, how do those affect you? How have they affected you in the past? What improvements have you seen with
Well,
that? Or
we're like everyone else. A year ago, we were ready to walk. Nobody was happy. The sim crossings were horrible. I mean, if you want to just sit there and dance at a club, maybe you could get away with it. But what is that guy doing?
he's got her in reverse.
He certainly, I think he's going to hit us.
Oh no.
Well, anyway, so with changes that finally got made, some were things that we talked to Linden Lab about. For example, the Blake Sea was supposed to, from day one, all be on the same type of server. But over time, as Linden Lab's attention to detail wandered, that changed, and it was a checkerboard of locations. So we got that changed. That helped. But the really big help came 2 or 3, maybe it's a little more than that, months ago, and I don't have the details on this, but they discovered that at sim crossings, planes were not treated Well, it was the way you treated planes. They got a lower priority on updating the data that you passed along between sims. They found that problem, they solved it, and frankly, in the last 3 or 4 months, 5 months maybe, things have been a lot better, and I think everyone would probably agree with that. Doesn't mean we're out of the woods. It certainly have problems, but it's certainly a lot better than it was.
Yes, for sure. I almost gave up grid flying for a while, but have returned to it now because things have improved some. Now, there's another thing that happened here. I don't know what was a few months back about some aviators kind of got their feelings hurt or felt like there was some policies being made that was limiting certain types of aircraft here. And
Okay, yeah, what's going on there, I believe, what you're talking about, perhaps, is that some of the sim owners in the United Sailing Sims don't want certain aviation types, primary, military, in their sims. Is that what we're talking about here?
yes, yeah, the
Okay,
military type
yeah.
aircraft, yes.
Let me give you a little background how the United Sailing Sims work. We're 12 owners, 12 independent owners. We banded together to provide the kind of sailing environment that we have, and they're all very much into sailing. Some of them are into aviation too, but mostly they're into sailing. But each of those 12 owners of multiple Sims is their own agent. We don't have hard, fast rules that we put on one another. I think experience would teach you the hard, fast rules make for problems. Rules are good. We need rules for behavior and things like that. But to tell an owner that you have to let this happen in your sims and you can't let that happen in your sims, it doesn't extend to that level. So there's at least one owner who I believe has banned military aircraft. Certainly not for Hollywood real estate in our complex of sims. We love having around, as long as no combat from military craft over the private land. And in the Blake Sea, we encourage combat over 250 meters is air to air in the Blake Sea is great, but we discourage and try to take steps to prevent surface to surface combat in what has essentially been designed as a sailing area, not a military warship area.
Right, okay, yeah. So there's a tension there between the sailing community and the aviation community, obviously, that needs to
Well,
maintain, and both
yeah.
aviators need to respect the sailors and vice versa, I think.
Well, I wouldn't call it the sailors. In the case of talking about policy, you're talking about sim owners who make their own decisions whether they will let those kind of aircraft in. So I wouldn't say sailors don't want us to fly military aircraft. I don't think it's that. Individual owners make their own policies about those limitations, and we don't. We
Okay.
don't lord it over each
Yeah.
other, so to speak.
Yeah. No, what I was talking about was, the way that, like if you're an aviator, the way that you conduct yourself here, and
Hmm.
don't fly low, don't buzz ships, and
Yeah, just the
boats
common
and things
sense
like that.
things.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Unfortunately, aviation, like any other group, is going to have its mature people and its immature people, and aviation does attract some younger folks that perhaps don't have enough life experience to realize they need to be nice out there.
yeah, yeah, that's true. So think about all the struggles and battles you've had to fight over the years with the getting the sailing sims up and running, and then getting into the aviation end of it. And I know you've had several
Hmm.
with residents and with Linden Labs as well. But what keeps you going? What keeps you interested? What's your goal here?
Well, you can look behind us and you can see it. I can come in from work, have some dinner, and if I don't want to do anything, there's nothing on TV, I can just sit here and watch the activity at the airport. Or I can go and find live music that I enjoy. And all of those things we talk about that are good are still there. So they still keep me interested. But there are days that I am ready to leave this place, and if there was a button to push, I push it, but then I get over it.
Yeah, I know. I think everybody goes through that, but I think I'm the same. I look at it, and I show people, that aren't in Second Life, and I show them, what I do sometimes,
Mm-hmm.
and I say everything you see on this screen has been created by the people in here.
Right.
You don't see anything there that hasn't been created by the residents. So I think that's the thing that keeps me going, because people just keep figuring out new ways
Yeah.
to do this thing, and it's just awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So
That's absolutely true.
yeah.
Before I forget, I just looked down and saw a note here.
Uh-huh.
I've enjoyed watching aviation as a community grow the way I watched sailing as a community grow in the past. Early on, there were a few airports, and I think there was some sense of competition between builders of aircraft. I'm sure there still are but that kind of characterized where we were at. But as more and more people have got into aviation, and more communication tools have been provided, like SL Aviation Group and other types groups, it's been fun to watch it grow. I really like what Deirdre Falls, I guess it is doing with her grid flights. I think that's a really nice step towards solidifying community and getting everyone on the same page that, hey, we're all doing this together, and help some of those airports not to feel so isolated, because there's some of them are way out wherever, and so it's nice to get someone that's helping people toward those things. So kudos to her. And
she's making a point to try to include every mainland airport possible in those grid flights, and all the continents and everything. So she has a system and a plan, and she spends a lot of time on that every week. If you've read her note cards, they're very detailed, and she goes through every route and finds the best way to get from one place to another. So that's awesome. And any other comments you'd like to make before we close out, Mark?
Well, no, I think we've covered a lot of it. It's just I can't think of anything we haven't covered. You're a good interviewer. You did a good job.
Well, good. I enjoy it, and I just want to thank you for running such a great place to fly into and hang out at. So keep up the good work. And our staff welcomes you to come over any time. And like I say, we've got the plane watching area there in the old terminal where you can just sit and watch the action. Okay, awesome. Thanks a lot, Mark. Okay, you're welcome. There you have it. Thanks again, Mark, for an excellent and informative interview. Make sure you put a trip to Hollywood Airport on your next flight plan. Remember, if you're an airport owner, group leader, or builder, please contact me for a spot on the show. I have enough material for issue 5, and it's almost ready to roll, so stay tuned. It'll be showing very soon. We'll be talking with Blacktip Razor at the new Abbott's Airport, and I got to sit in on a training session at Second Life Marine Corps Naval Aircrew Training Center. I'll be showing you a few highlights from that visit. It should prove to be an interesting show. Okay, that clears the notes off my desk for this show, and I'm going to concentrate on catching some fish. Happy flying.